Hi guys, Josh here, aka Beards and Books. Thanks for logging on to my first ever video, hopefully the first of many on BookTube. So what I'm going to do for you today is the BookTube Newbie Tag, where I want to explain a bit more about myself and the channel and what I'm hoping to do across the coming months. So first question, why did you start this channel? So for me personally, I mean, the obvious answer is I love books. I'm a big book fan, so it's an excuse to talk about more books. It's an excuse to talk to like-minded people, hopefully get ideas for other book series to read. And I watch a lot of BookTube myself, so it's exciting and slightly nerve-wracking to think that other people might be doing the same with my videos in the future. Question number two, exciting things about myself that I can bring to BookTube. But I think I'm probably slightly different to the average booktuber at the moment. I'm probably slightly older and, you know, I'm a big bearded guy. My tastes are probably slightly different as well. I'm not as into YA, which seems to be a big theme of booktube at the moment. There are a lot of YA books I read, but most of my books would be classed as adult. So hopefully it's something different and it can give other ideas to other people. So question number three, what are you most excited about this channel? I think one, it's a big challenge. Obviously, I'm not someone that does videos. This is my first ever YouTube video, so the exciting part is the pushing yourself and the challenge. It's also the chance to speak to like-minded people. Like I said, I watch a lot of BookTube myself, so it's a crazy idea thinking that at some point people might end up watching my videos. So it's an exciting challenge, and it's something I've been pushed to do, just thanks for talking to my girlfriend and brother a lot about how much I love books, and they've recommended that I push myself forward. So question number three, what are you most excited about for this channel? I think personally, obviously it's a new hobby. This is my first ever video on YouTube, so it's an exciting challenge. It's something completely different to anything I've done before, and I'm looking forward to branching out, testing myself. It's an excuse to read more and obviously push to read quicker and more books across the next years, so it's just a good challenge. Question number four, so why do you love reading? Personally, I think reading's a great form of escapism. I think when you're engrossed in a good book, nothing else matters at that point. When your head's in the pages, when you're reading the words, when you're listening to the characters, it's a perfect sort of your own little way of building your own little world. We can all read the same book, but we can have 100 different versions of it in our mind. The characters look different, the worlds look different, and how we perceive people are different. So it's a perfect medium, but I think it's great fun as well. I'm a big fan of reading in various forms, so I'd love to talk about it more. Question number five, so what series got you into reading? I mean, for me, this is an easy one. I'm a 90s baby, same as a lot of people that are going to be on BookTube or watching BookTube. Harry Potter was the one that started it all. Growing up as a kid, probably 9 or 10 when the Philosopher's Stone came out, if that, it was just mind-blowing. I don't think anything that magical and anything that perfect had ever been written before, and then obviously I grew up with the books. In recent years, definitely Game of Thrones. Started off with the TV show, thought this was brilliant, read the books, didn't think it was possible, but I think the books are even better, they're fantastic. Working on the last two, A Dance with Dragons as we speak, and then waiting for the final book if George R. R. Martin ever manages to finish it. So I think Game of Thrones would be definitely the main series for me at the moment, and then I'm branching out. I'm trying to read a lot more Stephen King. Anyone that writes that many books must be good. Recently finished Cujo and loved it, so I'm branching out. I'm trying anything and trying something different each other book, but Game of Thrones. Question number six, what questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? I think the one for me would be how you gained confidence in actually conveying yourself across BookTube. So for me, like I said, I've not done this before. It's a nervous situation at first, but I suppose there's experience that comes along the way. So first question would be, how did you gain your confidence? How did you, edit your videos? How did you learn lighting and all that? Was it just trial and error, or was it just something you picked up? And then I suppose the second question, and probably most important, would be reading time. I mean, I've seen myself as a relatively quick reader, but I'll still only do a book a week, maybe two if they're relatively short, 300 pages or so. So you see some people on BookTube that have gone through 10, 15 books in a month, and it seems crazy. So how you find the time and how you structure your reading? Do you speed read, do you skim, or do you, get fully engrossed and read word for word? So that'd be interesting to know. Next question, what challenges do I think would be hardest to overcome starting a BookTube channel? I think, as I touched on initially, just learning to BookTube, just learning to make videos, how to create content, how to make it interesting where people want to watch, but also making it different and not copying other people to just be sort of one of the crowd, as it was. As I said, I think I'm probably slightly different to the average booktuber. My reading style is probably similar to a lot, but hopefully I'll add something different and I'll give different people different ideas on what books to read. So it's an interesting challenge. Also, I think overcoming the initial, what I expect to be quite a slow build. I don't think any YouTube channels start off and get, you know, tens, hundreds, thousands of views straight away. I'd imagine most booktubers are probably going for a good year, a couple of years before they really get any recognition. So I think overcoming that initial slump and still having the drive to do booktube alongside reading, it would be an interesting challenge, but one I want to push myself to do. I want to aim to do a video a week, or at least a video every 10 days. So there's 3 or 4 a month coming out, and then hopefully as the channel grows and I grow with it, I can look to do more and different content at that point. So next question, when did you start reading? As I touched on earlier, same as most 90s babies, it was Harry Potter. Harry Potter was the first book that really got me into reading. I read the major kids books when I was younger, The Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe, those sort of books, but since Harry Potter came along, that really sort of sparked my love for reading, as it was. I kind of lost track a little bit in my teenage years, as most people do. You're out and about more with friends, and sitting in with a book wasn't as appealing as it should have been to me at that time. But since I've got older, I've appreciated more and more the peace and the time that comes with reading a good book. And I'm probably more engrossed than ever now. I average 3 or 4 books a month. I'm setting myself reading challenges every 6 months to every year, trying to do more adventurous and bigger books as they come. Need to try and conquer It at some point, which will be the biggest book that I've ever done, by Stephen King. So I'm building up my Stephen King library before I get to that. So yeah, interesting. So next question, this one I find an interesting one because it's different for everyone. So where do you read? So I do a lot of my reading at work on lunch breaks. So like most people, I work an office job Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Come lunchtime, the last thing I want to do is still sit in front of a screen, so I will sit out in my car with a book. Now at the moment it's quite difficult because it's the English summer. If I look outside, I think it's 22, 23 degrees at the moment, so sitting in a hot car is not always the easiest, but it gives me the perfect level of quiet and the perfect me time just to crap through a book. Other than that, when I'm at home, I'll read anywhere. I'll sit in the garden and read. If it's a nice day, I'll sit on the sofa and read. One thing I'm a sucker for though is I like quiet when I read. I find I'm quite easily distracted if the TV's on. So if my girlfriend's watching TV, or if my dog's barking in the corner or snoring as she's a bulldog, I'll get straight out in the garden or up in the bedroom if the weather doesn't suit. So final question. So what sort of books do you read? I've got quite a wide variety, I suppose. My favourite style and my favourite series, as I said, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, so I'm looking quite heavily at a fantasy sort of style. I've branched out into more procedural cop books recently, Missing Presumed, books along those lines. I'm also trying to do slightly different books in terms of, I read the new James Bond novel, Forever and a Day, very good. So my main style would be fantasy into sci-fi, but I am trying to branch out into all other areas essentially. I've read a few thrillers. The problem I have with thrillers is I'm always trying to guess the ending before it comes, and then when you get it correct, I find it slightly spoils it a little bit for me. And there are certain YA books that I read as well, so I'm a big fan of the Chaos Walking trilogy. I'm just about to do the Ask and the Answers, the second book, and I'm also finishing Mortal Engines at the minute, and then I'm going to go into Predator's Gold, and then I've also got Darker Shade of Magic waiting to go as well, which is highly, highly recommended. So quite a wide range of books, but my main and favourite style would definitely be fantasy or sci-fi. So guys, thanks for taking the time to watch my first video. So as I said, I'm going to look to push content out hopefully once a week. I am still new to this, so I apologise in advance if my filming or audio isn't perfect, or even the lighting. I'll experiment with it over the next couple of videos, but if you've got any pointers, any tips, please let me know down in the comment section. Equally, if there's anything you'd like to see for future videos, obviously I'll do the TBRs, I'll do the book collections and the book unhauling videos, but if there's anything specific you want to see, let me know down below. Hope to see you in the comments, guys.